Welcome to the Freedom Hustles podcast, where host John and Andy take you on a journey of liberation away from the 9-to-5 grind. Explore side hustles, remote work, and the skills to help you unlock true freedom. Brought to you by freedomskillsacademy.com, this podcast is your gateway to independence and financial empowerment.
Right, and so episode 65. How are you doing, Andy? You all right?
I'm good, yeah. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Yep, I'm okay. Apart from
the the biking injury you had the other week.
Little biking accident I had. Yeah, we've had a laugh about that. Turns out I've actually got a couple of cracked ribs.
So you can't laugh that much.
No, so we got to be a bit sensible this week.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be fine. Just time and yeah, everything should be back to normal soon. Well, not soon.
You're good.
Anyway, so yeah, this episode we're talking a bit more about marketing, world building. We want to kind of stress again how important this is, and how kind of simple it can be, and we don't want to get people to kind of feel overwhelmed by this. So we're going to try and sort of give some examples on this episode about how you can make it almost like part of your sort of daily routine, and not complicate things. Yeah, is that a sort of fair way to start off?
Yeah. Basically, I got thinking about this the other week because obviously I'm doing a little bit of training to do with sort of social media stuff, and I've been thinking about this for quite a while. We've talked about world building, we talked about building your personal brand, and we've talked in the past before about how being seen as a celebrity is actually very good for your income. Basically, when you're seen and people recognize you, when you're a familiar figure, basically doors open that you never was going to open in the first place. And one of the things that we're living in, or the age we're living in now, is we are living in the age of this thing here, which I'm holding in my hand, is the mobile. Well, it's mobile phone, cell phone, whatever you want to call it, but basically it's a handheld computer that wouldn't look out of place on Starship Enterprise. You know what I mean? In the future, it's one of those touchscreen things that you've got in your pocket, which has an incredibly sophisticated video. Basically, if you remember back in the 80s, if you wanted to record video, you had to buy one of them big JV things that you stick on your shoulder. You had to have this big camcorder. But now you've got these mobile phones. You can record anything and everything. And when you've got things like social media, so you've got your TikTok, you've got your YouTube Reels, you've got your Facebook, you've got all these things. People are using videos, short form and long form, raw videos, to build this presence, to build this online personality, this brand. They're building this world, and people are seeing them, and they're using this and creating large followings. And this is basically this little handheld computer is changing people's worlds, and it is just it's phenomenal when you actually stop and think about it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that I think any business, I don't know, maybe even any business, the exception of a few, obviously, but pretty much any business in the next 2 or 3 years will have to have some form of content creation team in the form of, like social media presence. Now, we know it's obviously huge now, but I think it's just going to keep on going and going. And, it's just evolved so quick, and like these little kind of like short form video, it doesn't even have to be short form anymore, just kind of like video content, like you say. It's so easy, like you say, you can just pick your phone up, if you whatever niche you're in, go to like whatever your question, what are people asking you, okay? So whatever niche you're in, when you get comments, when you get questions, you might have like a little FAQ on your website or something like that. You can literally answer them now just by holding your phone up to the screen. You know what I mean? Here's 3 ways in which you can improve your, I don't know, landing page conversions. And then you can just talk about it. And then before you know it, bang, that's it. And then you upload it. Also, you've got this kind of like raw, sort of unedited version of things, versus the more kind of like polished stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is a really interesting study, because I've certainly experienced, you know, some stuff that's just been completely unedited and do really well. I'll quite often answer a question via a video, or I'll post a little video up when I'm out walking, or I've
Yeah.
done one a few weeks ago when I was on the way to darts. I literally just flipped the phone open, opened it up, walked on the way, filmed it, done, posted it, and I didn't even look at it. And it was like 3 or 4 hours later that night when I opened it up, and there must have been something like 15 comments, load of likes, people are chiming in, answering stuff, and I was thinking, wow, you know what I mean? So
How powerful is that?
yeah, exactly. Whereas years ago, you probably would have thought, why you wouldn't have certainly done it on a mobile phone. You would probably, you had to record it, like you say, then you have to upload it to an editing software. Then you'd have had to chop and change all these various bits and pieces out.
Mm.
But now, like you say, everyone's walking around with one of these in their hand. If you've got one of these, you can pretty much build a business and build a brand around, whatever it is you're going to be offering, whatever service or product or
Yeah.
whatever it is you're going to do. Um, And then I guess it goes back to other stuff that we've talked about, things like forming habits. I know
Yeah.
you want to talk about this, but just showing up daily, you know what I mean? That's a habit. If you did like a little 10-minute, coffee break chat every day to your followers or whatever, and you just make it a thing, we turn up every day at 11 o'clock, either you go on a live stream or I don't know, you just post a video up and that's
That's
it.
the other, yeah. I mean, that's the other great thing is not only can you create videos and upload, you can broadcast live now.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw there's a woman who does broadcasting on, which she used to do. I don't know if she still does now, but it was Instagram. She used to do a live at 5 on a Friday,
Yeah.
live at 5 on a Friday. Well, it didn't matter where she was. She always did this live video. Could be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but she always went live, and it's just incredible what you think. When you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to say, so I mean, everyone knows it by now, but there's a whole load of platforms out there which will cater for this type of content. So we've obviously got the obvious one like TikTok, which is huge at the moment. Well, it's been huge now for the last couple of years.
Mhm.
Don't know what's going to happen. It depends on when you're watching this podcast, but obviously there's a bit of an issue in America at the moment. They're on
So
about
it might be banned soon or something.
banning it on, for whatever.
Yeah.
But if that goes, and well, I don't think it will, but obviously all the other platforms are following suit now. Facebook do, you can do like stories. Instagram's always had, Instagram stories, and now they've got Reels.
Yeah.
YouTube have got their own sort of version of Shorts, it's called. And even the other day I was looking on Pinterest. I mean, I've got a Pinterest account which was, that was solely image based not that long ago. And now, even now, on there, they've taken video content. So, you know, and it's just about showing up, like you say, showing up daily. I think as well, it's one of those things. Once you start to grow a little following, now I'm not claiming to be, the absolute expert. We don't have like millions of followers, but we have a nice little community around, and we have some nice, some of the channels are getting some quite good traction and stuff. I think once you start getting a following, you almost have an obligation to show up,
Yeah.
to them people now, because they've chosen to follow you for a reason. They resonated with something you said, or they found some use out of a piece of content that you posted.
Yeah.
So now I almost feel like you kind of owe it to them to keep on delivering, which is what people should do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible tool, and I'm going to give you 3 examples of over the last few years of people using video, mobile phone video, to. Oh, I can tell you, Mike Shreve, he runs, I think, 2 or 3 6 to 7 figure businesses
Mhm.
now. He's built himself a huge business. But I remember a few years ago on Facebook, he decided to do a series of video lives, broadcasts, and I think it was he was either through his page or his own personal profile, whatever it was. But he did these, and the whole purpose of doing this, and this might have been through a laptop and a webcam, not necessarily a phone at the time. But I have seen him, some of the videos he did actually, he was walking through the woods, holding the camera up, the phone up, and filming himself while he was walking and talking. But he did these series of videos because of, first of all, it was good for the Facebook algorithm. Secondly, I think it sent a notification out basically to anybody who was a friend or follower or liker of the page. But then he also had this video content, which was always going to be on his profile, so people could go through it later on. So it was like a portfolio of his thoughts, words, and skills and abilities. But also, he was able then to use them as Facebook adverts. So
wow.
he would then he would basically go to Facebook advert, and he would, I think it was like he was doing like $1 a day or something, so like $30 a month, and he was just having these videos posted to people who were interested in that specific subject, which basically run an online business, and he would just pay $30 per video and just have these circulating and circulating until people who were interested in that got to see him, got to know him, and he built this omnipresent sort of world brand of Mike Shreve. People started to turn up, they started to take notice, and then they'll go to his page and then they'll see what he was promoting and selling, join his email list. And he did all that basically solely from doing broadcasts similar to this. Just, I think he had like a whiteboard on some of them. Then there was others where he was walking through the woods. And it was the exact same thing as well with Colin. I don't know how you pronounce this, but he looks like the Riot, but Colin Theorot. So he's a copywriter, and he's done quite well with his copywriting. You get paid large amounts of money by clients to write copy for sales pages and stuff like that. He wanted to move himself away from being a copywriter working for clients to being a product creator selling products to other people. So he did exactly the same thing. He built a Facebook group to do with copywriting. Excuse me. Every day he would turn up and do a broadcast live where he would just talk between 5 and 10 minutes about a specific subject. It was all raw. There was no editing. It was all just live and uncut. And he would do that for 30 days or whatever. And he probably carried on still doing it now. Till he basically built this authority. People recognized his face. They knew his name. They knew he was a copywriter. They knew that anybody who wanted to be a copywriter, he was the person to go to learn from, to join the group. Bish, bash, bosh. Further, few years down the line, he's now basically selling consulting packages. So he talks to people on the phone or online for like $500 an hour, sells his own products. And it's just basically, that's all he does. And another example, before I just hand over to you, another example is, this is of now, and this is to do with a lot, we talked about this the other day, high ticket affiliate marketing. Is affiliate marketing a scam? There's a woman over in Serbia called Kat. She has her own Facebook group. She takes herself out and sits on a hill or a field just outside her little village, puts her phone on a tripod, and then just records a video of herself talking to the screen, talking about the industry, about mindset, about business, about affiliate marketing. She films that while she's out taking the dogs for a walk, and then just uploads it to Facebook.
That's brilliant.
Costs her absolutely nothing to do, other than obviously you've got to buy the phone, you've got your mobile connection and your tripod. But actually recording the videos, getting them online in front of people, costs her absolutely nothing.
And then, like you say, so the live videos, they are sort of recorded, and then you can basically use them.
Yeah, you know, when you use Zoom,
they get shared and they stay there, don't they? Yeah. So when you use Zoom, you have the opportunity to record the broadcast or whatever you're filming. With Facebook, I don't know, I'm assuming it's the same with Instagram or anything like that. But when you actually broadcast live on Facebook, Facebook record it. So as soon as you finished, and it'll say this recording will be available in whatever 5 minutes time when it's processed. So it saves it for you as however you want, as normal.
Yeah, I mean, you can even download it if you want and use it elsewhere. But I mean, if you've got your Facebook account connected to your Instagram account, then it will probably be automatically sent over there at the click of a button.
There's almost certainly ways in which you can do that. Yeah, you'll be a sort of quaff. Because I know when Gary Vaynerchuk does, I know we've talked about him before, and he's got a huge team behind him. But I've seen one of his videos before, and it was kind of like it started before they were kind of going live. So it was him like getting everything set up, and he was like, "Right, are we ready on LinkedIn? Are we ready on Facebook? Are we ready on?" It was like he named like all the platforms basically.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yep, okay, let's go." And then he went live, and he was obviously live on everything. But yeah, no, it's great. And the beauty of it, again, once you've done it, perhaps we should revisit that video again. I know we've done a podcast probably even a couple of years ago now. It was one of the early ones about remixing and repurposing stuff and the importance of that. Once you've shot that, whatever it is, 10, 15-minute little live session. And don't forget, just if you've got a Facebook group of 300 people or a TikTok account of, I don't know, whatever it is you need to be able to go live, or Instagram, you might only have 500 followers or something like that. When you go live, all 500 people aren't going to turn up. Okay, that's just part and parcel of it. There's definitely a higher percentage of people that will get the notifications, which I think we've mentioned before.
Yeah.
So more people will get notified the fact that you're live. I think it shows up in the feed a bit more, obvious that you're live, but not all 500 of your followers are going to turn up. You'll probably find people that go, like I go on live sometimes and I'll watch people and I might drop in for like 2 or 3 minutes, get a little bit of information, maybe ask a question and then leave. Okay. And that's probably what most people are going to do. But the beauty of it is, like you say, you're turning up every day. And you don't have to do this live, by the way. Like I do I do a TikTok video every day. It's not live, you know what I mean? I'll video it and then I'll publish it later on. But it's still, showing up daily. And so, yeah. And then once you've done that, like you say, it doesn't matter who attends it, really. You just got to get used to just doing it. It's unedited. So, but then that video, like you say, that then becomes a video, a piece of content, which you can use in multiple different ways. That video can then be chopped up probably into like 10 short form video content, or short form videos, you could use across all the platforms we mentioned earlier, your TikTok, your Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts can only be 60 seconds, but you can get a tremendously powerful message in a minute. Do you know what I mean? You could create a hell of a lot of videos into little 1-minute chunks and then just almost make a channel dedicated to these little short clips, isn't it?
If you're talking about something and let's say you break it down into bullet points, each bullet point could be, like you say, that 60-second short, or that little clip, as long as you can fit it in there. And like you say, it's a great idea. You have these longer videos, you break them into shorter ones, or you just sit down one day with a list and just record a load of short points. You write them, or you have this idea what you want to talk about. But it's just the ability to be able to broadcast and have yourself out there, building this sort of familiarity, the celebrity. Because really, the celebrity is just a person who is seen regularly. It doesn't necessarily mean it's somebody who's talented. I mean, yes, in the old days, he was an actor, he was a musician, he was a singer. But when they had things to promote, or when they've been like a new album's out, or the new tour, or there's a new film, they would get on radio, they get on TV, they get in magazines. So people would see their faces, they'd see their names, and they became household names. People knew who they were.
Yeah.
With these tools that you have now, you have the ability to do exactly that. I mean, we're doing it now. What we're doing, we've got webcams, we're attached to our laptops, we're sat here talking in our offices. You're in the UK, I'm here over in Portugal. We're both talking live. And apart from buying the equipment, which we need anyway, this is costing us absolutely nothing to do. In fact, some people might even think we're ancient and old, because you could probably just do this through your mobile phones. We could probably record this podcast live through our mobile phones and broadcast live to the networks. You know what I mean? It's just so incredibly
we are a bit ancient in that regard. There is some stuff that we probably could do a little bit, smarter. But yeah, hey ho, this works for us. That's fine.
It does. It works for us. I mean, and people are. I mean, I don't know how we're coming across particularly, but we are creating these videos just sat here and we're talking. I mean, it's just immense. I mean, we were talking about different types of stories, like you say, with your stories reels. You were talking about the other day about how you were doing announcements on TikTok, Instagram for your newsletter, and how those short little, because you use your phone, you can zoom into your screen and you just record yourself for like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, showing it, and then you put a bit of graphics on it. Bish bash bosh, you publish it to Instagram. You are informing, you're announcing the fact that there's a newsletter going out tomorrow. I mean, how powerful is that?
Yeah, so that's a little tip for anyone. That's such an easy way. That literally takes about 30 seconds. Yeah, so Instagram, these aren't videos that go live on the feed, but these are like Instagram stories. So these are things that last for 24 hours. And I find, strangely, a lot of people watch the stories. Maybe I'm a bit, old fashioned in that regard. I don't spend a lot of time on people's stories, but for whatever reason, a lot of people do. They spend the flick through stories. Um, so, but with stories, it can really be. It is the whole point of that is completely unedited, almost like a sort of behind the scenes stuff. You know, we do it sometimes on here, don't we? Like, I might take a little picture, like we could do one right now. You know what I mean? We're in the middle of a podcast. I could literally hold my phone up like that, take a picture of you waving to the screen and me. There we go. Right. I'm done. Right. And then now I could almost share that as a story saying, filming a podcast, blah, blah, blah. There you go.
You're the same self.
Right. And that's the type of thing. And I was doing it like the other week just to kind of promote the newsletter. So obviously we've got a few newsletters across the websites and stuff. And which basically just share our content out there and other people's content that we like and that we've read. And so yeah, I'll just started taking a little screenshot and basically I'll just put on there over the text what's coming on the next newsletter. So what they can expect on the next newsletter. And it'll just be simple. It'll be like 3 bullet points, maybe not even that. And then a link at the bottom where they can go and get it. And it's so easy. Who's that guy that you sent me was it like Charles? I was going to say Giles Barkley, but he's a basketball player. There was like a
Oh,
chef, not
Miguel Barkley.
Miguel Barkley.
Miguel Barkley, yeah,
Miguel Barkley.
the chef.
He'd do about 50 stories a day, wouldn't he?
Yes.
And it would literally just be like his whole life. He'd be like walking around Tesco's, buying a load of ingredients. Then you'd see him like cooking it up in the kitchen. Then he'd be sort of like, take his kids to the park. But, people kind of like resonated with it in a weird kind of way, didn't they? It was
people love them. My missus used to love him and follow him all the time. There was at one point, I mean, she stopped following him now because it was all the time, and it got to a point where it was less cooking. But I thought she was having an affair with him because throughout the day I could hear his voice in the house because she was always watching his stories. And this is the thing. This is a great example because it's a bit like a one-armed bandit is Miguel Barkley, because he's got to the point where he's doing everything with one hand because he's always got the phone attached in the other, and he'll be doing something, cooking.
Like answer the door for someone with the phone in there.
Exactly. And there's even points where, we get to the point where you think, a lot of people will think, oh, I can't film that. What can I film? I don't know what to film. And he was filming everything. I mean, I spent years working on the building site. I wouldn't even dream of filming myself putting numbers on the door. But there he was, filming himself, fitting numbers to the door, drilling holes and putting these numbers on. And I'm thinking, seriously, I understand that you're building up this brand, you're building up this world and building up this following. But, I mean, you're sticking numbers on a door. But
I know.
Every piece of content, and that's like you said earlier about if you've got 500 followers, not everybody's going to see that video.
No.
But that 500 people will probably see at least one of your videos. And so if you publish 20 videos, people will see several videos, and it's still very incredibly powerful stuff. But yes, you can film anything and everything. That is something. I mean, I've just done a quick video now to show us in and out, and that'll probably go on Facebook stories as recording a podcast. Like you say, just stick the image on there, let people know what you're doing, and it just creates familiarity.
In your little world as well, not everyone knows where you are on all of these other platforms. That we've had that before. You will have people that follow you on one platform that won't even know about you on the other ones. You know what I mean? I've seen that so many times. You can get quite a big success on one platform, post the same stuff pretty much on another platform, and it's like tumbleweed, or vice versa. You know what I mean? People connect to different things across different social media networks, and and again, I follow some really, some quite sort of highly respected guys in these sort of niches, and there's one on Instagram I follow, and he's got something like 500,000 followers on Instagram, and you go to his TikTok account and it's like 7,300, and you're like, well, there you go then. The message over there, for whatever reason, doesn't hit home like it does on the other platforms. LinkedIn is really good for written content. If you're writing posts, if you're a writer, You should be just posting your stuff on LinkedIn. That's a platform where people go to read stuff. They're a bit more that kind of way in thinking. TikTok, people are sitting there, they just want to doom scrolling through the feed. And so you need to kind of know, where your audience are. And you're not going to know that until you start sharing stuff across all them platforms.
You've just given a good point there. You mentioned earlier about the repurposing and remixing your content. And if you're writing articles, blog posts, and you're doing things like you say for LinkedIn, it's a great idea is to take that content that you've just written and then record a short video where you talk about that content.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
put that video onto Facebook, whether it be in the Reels or whether it's in stories, or you put it on Instagram or even Twitter. You put that video on there where you can't get as much written content out, or it's not seen as much. Because I mean, obviously, Facebook, I believe, Facebook favors video content more than written content. So you can take whatever you've written, and yes, you can share the link to Facebook, but Facebook doesn't like linking out to blog posts and websites. So stick your article on your website, stick your article on Medium or Substack, whatever it is, or LinkedIn, but then just take 5 minutes with your phone, look at the camera or even whatever, depending on what type of film you use, if you're going to use your screen pal and do it on the desktop, but take your phone, just film yourself talking about, I've written this blog post, it's over on the website if you want to read it, I talk about this, blah, 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 and you can just talk about that for a few minutes. Absolutely. And then that's another piece of content that gets out there. People see that, they may go to the blog post. If they don't, you've still got your message out to other people. And you've done it all by basically just doing this, sort of holding your camera up, your phone up and filming yourself.
So I done I think it was about a 25-minute video, really detailed video for some of the VIP members the other day. And I put that in the VIP group, which is obviously exclusive to them. So they got a good, real detailed 25-minute video. It was about selling digital products if you don't have a website of your own. And, there's loads of takeaways in there for them that they can get into and they can study it and they can, write stuff down. But then I also made a very quick, condensed sort of 1-minute version of it. Okay, which is basically just a little snapshot version of it. And literally just of me talking to the phone, so no detail, so not as much kind of over the shoulder stuff. When I say over the shoulder, obviously when I was doing the detailed version, I was using a screen recorder, so they could see every mouse click I was doing. But when I done it for TikTok, it was just me talking about it, and then I simply reversed my phone around, and like you say, I just almost filmed my monitor, just literally showing, these websites, and it's really kind of raw. It's very unedited, but again, that's now another little video that's gone out. Just however many people have seen it, 1,000 odd people, and it's pretty much the content idea I'd already done, so I didn't really have to come up with anything new. Do you know what I mean? I was just repurposing it, recreating it for another platform in the style that platform uses. If that makes sense.
And it took you probably no more than sort of 5 minutes tops.
5 minutes tops, exactly.
I mean, the other thing that you mentioned a few weeks ago, which I find incredibly powerful, and I don't know if they're using it on other platforms yet. With Facebook, you can reply with a photo. I know that. I don't know if you can do with videos, but you were talking about how you were replying to people on your TikTok videos with another video.
Yeah, that's an amazing feature. So on TikTok, we've definitely spoken about this before, but it's such a good point. And people need to be aware of this. So on TikTok, if you get a comment on there, someone asks a question, okay, but how do you do it like this? Or, you can reply to that message. And when you click on reply, it gives you the option of basically just fill in text, or there's a little video camera there. You click that and it opens up your camera, and you can literally just almost say to them, oh, hi, thanks very much for your message. The best way to do that is like this. And then just, simple message, simple reply, 1-2 minutes, whatever, and then back. Now, not only do they get a notification of that, because you obviously replied to them, that also goes on your feed like any other video does. So it's as easy as that. And all of a sudden, you've now got another video which could get viewed 10,000 times, bringing in more people, you know what I mean? And then creating that sort of, like we've said, this kind of omnipresence, if you like.
And what I love about this is we're living in this world where AI technology is going crazy at the moment. Everybody's trying to use AI technology to crack the code, to break the system, to make lots of money without doing any hard work. And there's all these AI faceless YouTube channels and this, that, and the other. When you do that, when you do these sort of videos where you're looking at the screen or looking at the camera, people can see it's you. Yes, there's deep fake technology, not 100% there, but people can generally see that you are replying. They see that you're a real person. You are replying to their comments, and it is like having a conversation with people. And we are social creatures. People are also voyeuristic. It's why we like films and dramas. We like to watch other people doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And we like to interact and get to know other people. And so when you're replying to people's comments with a video, it's just incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
absolutely incredibly powerful. And I think it's going to make you stand out in this AI world. It's going to make you stand out, head above everybody else.
You'll almost certainly find. I mean, I would imagine almost every example, say the person will probably get more followers than the company. So if you're a big successful entrepreneur, like for example, Gary Vaynerchuk, he'll almost certainly have more followers than VaynerMedia will. Do you know what I mean? Because people will be associated with him and they'll be liking him. They might not necessarily have much to do in common with his company. And that, people buy from people, don't they? How many times have we said that before?
Like Russell Brunson's another example of that.
Exactly. Yeah, he'll probably have more followers than, I don't know, but I'd imagine he would have more followers than, his ClickFunnels and whatever it is.
I would say so. I mean, he has got companies, and they are well-known companies, but as opposed to others. But people know Russell Brunson more than they know his businesses more than. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. So, really good little chat. Loads of really good, really useful takeaways in that episode tonight.
I think so.
Tonight, actually, it's not, is it? This afternoon we're filming for rare lunchtime episode. See, we should have went live. We could have been the lunchtime podcast or whatever. Yeah. Well,
when we get more settled, I mean, it is something to take into consideration, isn't it? Doing it live. I mean, because you do it live, people get notified. It gets put out there, and it's also recorded.
Let's face it. There's very little editing that goes into these podcasts. what we film here tends to just get published, and that's it.
Oh, the best one yet is when somebody came out dancing behind you. They didn't realise you were recording. That still cracks me up. That's the best one.
Years ago, yeah, we might have to dig that one back out. All right. Well, thanks very much for listening, and we'll speak to you on the next one.
Okay, thank you, and goodbye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Freedom Hustles podcast. We hope you found inspiration and insights to help fuel your journey towards freedom. Don't forget to join our free newsletter at freedomskillsacademy.com/newsletter, where you can find exclusive tips, updates, and resources to help elevate your hustle. Until next time, keep hustling towards your dreams.